Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my Why Should Pull Navia video. And in this video, I'll basically try to promote Navia's upcoming banner by, telling you why you should pull for her and also give you a small free-to-play damage showcase. So grab some snacks, sit back and watch me ramble about my favorite character in Genshin, Navia. But now, why should you pull for Navia and why do I like her so much? Well, the short answer is that she's pretty amazing, but the long answer is that she's an extremely useful and all-round OP unit to have. Not only is her kit super unique and easy to master, but she's also very fun to play. I mean, I've gotten countless 5 stars and I usually stop playing them after a while, but I still, even after months from her release, I constantly use Navia, and it's probably because she can be used for pretty much everything. Exploration, farming, abyss, you name it, she can do it, as long as it's not specters. Another reason why I like Navia so much is because of her damage. You see, using a E skill is kind of like dropping a nuke on your enemies, meaning that you can basically one-shot anything that comes in your way. And if you're someone like me and just like to mess around in the overworld, having Navia in your party basically means that you have the perfect team for exploration, because she low-key feels like Yelan but with 2 bursts. And trust me, seeing the way she reloads her umbrella never gets old. I also did a poll recently and saw that a majority of you guys actually play Genshin on your phone, and Navia is a great unit for mobile players. You don't have to worry much about your placement. As long as the enemies are in range, they won't live for long. Another reason why I like Navia so much is because she's actually quite tall, which basically means that she can help you with exploration, because the taller you are, the faster you're gonna move, and height matters when it comes to sprinting, climbing or swimming. Also, something that I've noticed after playing Genshin for a while is that people tend to dislike Claymore units a lot. I mean, I don't really blame them because most of them are super boring and slow to play, but somehow this doesn't happen with Navia, and I think it's all thanks to a quick playstyle. I mean, let's be honest, Geo plus Claymore is quite possibly the worst character combo you can have, and I'm sure that this has most likely turned off a lot of people from getting Navia. But to be completely honest, thanks to this fast playstyle, I completely forgot that she's a Claymore unit. Even her damage is so good that she doesn't even feel Geo. Now, I know some people say that Navia saved Geo, but bro, I think she actually saved herself from Geo. Also, to farm for Navia's artifacts, you must be thinking of doing her best in slot Nighttime Whispers domain. But bro, don't even go near that place. Not only is that domain super cursed, but the Nighttime Whispers set is only really good on Navia. And to make things worse, the other set is maybe good on like 2 units, making it one of the least resin efficient domains in the game. So instead, go farm the Marrachusetts domain and you'll feel like a brand new person, because not only is that set basically good on every single DPS, but that domain also gives you the golden troop drops, which is the perfect set for every single skill focused character in the game, meaning that both of these sets can actually be used on her. Now do keep in mind, if you're using the Marrachusetts set on Navia, your Farina will be basically tied to her, which is kinda annoying. So if you don't have Farina or just want to use her with like different units, don't worry, because Navia can make use of so many other artifact sets. It's actually wild. You can obviously use the 4-piece Nighttime Whisper set, the Golden Troop set, Archaic Petra, or even the 17 different attack ones as well. Just mix and match these artifacts until you get like a good ER to crit ratio, and she's gonna be alright. In fact, this is exactly what I do with my own Navia, and she feels busted. Also, you might have noticed a recent trend with Fontaine where almost every single character has this weird HP gaining or losing gimmick, which can be kinda annoying at times. But this doesn't really happen with Navia, because she's actually very newbie friendly, meaning that you can basically turn off your brain and go monkey mode on your enemies. Another big reason to get Navia is the fact that she's one of the most and least flexible characters at the same time. You see, because Navia is an attack scaling character, you're kind of forced to use Bennett with her. And to make things worse, you'll also most likely use Zhongli for the Geo Resonance, which kind of hogs up 2 of the best supports in the game. But with that being said, she also frees up some of the most high-end demand characters like Yelan, Kazuha, Shanyan, Nahida, and the list goes on and on, meaning that you can freely use them in your other Abyss team and still be Gucci. There are also way too many ways of playing her. She's the perfect unit if you like to use or like to experiment with many different team comps, because one of her passive actually rewards variety and increases your attack by 40% if you have 3 different elements in your party. Now, another great thing about Navia is that her early constellations are actually pretty decent. Her C1 increases your energy recharge, which makes building her easier and also makes her much more busted. And as if that wasn't enough, her C2 increases her crit rate by 36%, meaning that you'll never have to worry about a single crit roll for the rest of your life. She's honestly one of those rare characters that only has like OP constellations. But with that being said, you don't need them. Her C1 or C2 might look good, but if you're doing proper rotations, you won't even think of them. In fact, I didn't even know what a cons did before making this video, because even at C0, she feels like a complete C2 5-star character. And now, speaking of damage and builds, Navia also feels kind of future-proof. I mean, she already has really good teams and build options, and on top of that, she's very suitable for most of the different types of enemies like bosses, and not to mention the fact that attack buffs are some of the easiest ones to get. I personally think that she's always going to be a great great generalist character and you can rely on her for doing good damage, as long as they don't add more flying bosses. And now finally, let's talk about the most important reason as to why you should pull for Navia. She is hot. Now I usually like to keep my videos PG, but I gotta say, Navia is by far the most visually vibrant character in the game. She's honestly one of those extroverted, happy-go-merry characters, just like you, Emilie, that you'd love to be friends with. Every single detail about her design is super thought out and it compliments her like crazy. I mean, just look at her kit, the burst animations, the idle animations, the sound effects, the weapon, even a name card that you get after reaching like level 10 friendship is super unique, and all I'm gonna say is that the devs put their whole yussy into making Navia. But jokes aside, let me show you something that you're here for. Navia's damage and build. So my Navia is level 90 with 3000 attack. Now for the weapon, she's obviously on the Melusine thingy. For the artifacts, I have the 4-piece Nighttime Whispers set. And here are my individual pieces real quick. Now she's obviously at Constellation 0 and the talents are at 998. So you know what, let me show you all the final ratio now. So she has 70 crit rate, 180 crit damage with 130 AR. You know what, let's do a quick showcase now. But now let's also go over 6 major reasons why you should not pull for Navia. I mean, you probably will, but I have come up with some points to help you save those PP gems. So first off, let's start with the most obvious reason, Natlan. Now I'm pretty sure that you have already seen how good the trailers look, and by now everyone knows that the regional updates are some of the most hype ones we get. Not only do the new characters look absolutely insane, but during these patches we'll also be meeting the Pyro Archon, who might just be the best one yet. But right before all that, we also have the brand new 5-star called Emilie this patch, and alongside her we also have Yelan, a character that is loved by basically everyone. So if you're tight on those PP gems, you should probably get the character that you've been saving for first, cause Navia will sooner or later get a rerun, right? Another big reason to skip Navia that I've seen only a few people talk about comes from the fact that her kit is kind of clickbait, cause her gameplay kind of makes it seem like she has a lot of AoE, but that's actually not completely true. You see, her E skill is basically like a shotgun, meaning that the more spread out your enemies are, the less damage you're gonna do. So you'll have to learn how to group or at times just straight up hug your enemies to do the maximum damage. And to make things worse, you can't really move her skill up or down, which makes killing some tiny flying mobs much harder. But then again, you can always just use her burst to deal with them, so it won't really be that big of an issue. Now, speaking of annoying stuff, let's also talk about her voice lines. Now, at first, you might think that it's going to be something irritating like Zhongli's infamous Osmanthus whine, but bro, this is actually much worse. You see, whenever you go AFK on Navia, she'll either pull out her umbrella or do some stretches. Now, this might look cute at first, but when you turn on the volume, you'll have a character that can rival JP Lisa's climbing. And I think that this tweet sums it up the best. There are only 2 things Navia mains fear: no critting and this idle animation without headphones. Cause honestly, it's much safer to switch to an H-anime website than to have your mom listen to Navia stretching. But if I'm not mistaken, the Korean and the CN voices aren't as sus as the other ones, so you could just use those and be fine. Also, fun fact, did you know that this idle animation can also move items just like Chi-Chi's? But now let's not forget about the actual biggest reason to skip Navia, which is the fact that she can be the most and the least free-to-play character at the same time. For example, if you have any 5-star claymores in this game, you could just slap that on Navia and be good. But the same can't really be said about the 4-star options, because if you're free to play, you'll have like 2 or 3 good weapon options, with the best one being this goofy looking cardboard claymore. Not only does this weapon fulfill all of Navia's ER requirements, but it can also give you a whole lot of attack. But now, before you get too excited, I should remind you that this is an event weapon, and to fully unlock this weapon's passive, you'll have to complete the 4-hour-long Melusine quest, which can be kind of annoying. But as someone who hates doing side quests, I can assure you that this one in particular is quite fun, and it's nowhere as annoying as the Arnara one. Also, fun fact, you can see the Melusines you have helped on this claymore. But as if that wasn't enough, building an OP Navia takes a lot of patience and time, because you need to ensure that you have as much crit rate as you can get, because Navia is actually a very crit hungry character, and her no critting once could mean that you miss out on 500,000 damage in just 1 second. And this can be the difference between you getting 36 stars or even making a tweet longer about how you're quitting Genshin for the 7th time this month. But now with that being said, you can easily mitigate this issue by giving her one of her best artifact sets, the Marachuse Hunter, which gives like 36% crit rate for free. And if you pair this up with like a good crit rate circlet, your ratio will be around 72% but doing absolutely nothing. But now for real though, what's the point of having all this crit rate when she just doesn't quit? Like bro, I've spent hundreds of days perfecting my Navia's build, and I'm not even joking. She somehow manages to crit as often as the number of times Carver has been on banners. Dude, that's why Navia should take a DNA test, because I'm 99% sure that she's Charles' sister. Also, if you like this video, be sure to subscribe, because only like 7% of my viewers are actually subbed to the channel. So yeah, that's it, and I'll see you soon.